I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another review, and I finally got around to seeing this movie. I rather liked it. I have a few issues with it, but overall I would say if you're a Spider-Man fan, this is easily worth a look. If nothing else, but just how energetic it was. It was very trippy at times. And it was fairly fast-paced. You get some really good visuals. And I was just surprised by just how energetic and I want to say like inventive, whereas it uses split screens or some of the fluidity of the camera work moving around in the action sequences. A lot of nice references if you're a big Spider-Man fan. Playing off the whole multi-universe aspect. I mean, even the very way it begins. This trippy, almost on acid look where the Columbia lady and the Marvel logo go in different colors. Even though the Columbia lady, there's one point where she turns to like a fucking cowgirl shooting pistols. I guess to further insinuate the whole multiverse thing. I thought that was an entertaining idea. In the first 5 minutes of the film, they make fun of the Spidey dancing scene in Spider-Man 3. I thought that was pretty damn fun. You hear a little bit of the 60s Spider-Man theme, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. But the gist of the story, Miles Morales, his dad's a cop, and he's trying to have a relationship, a friendship with his dad, and they're kind of, I wouldn't say they're not getting along with each other. It's just they're not as close as they would like to be. Let me put it that way. And one thing leads to another. He's with his uncle. A spider's crawling around as they're tagging and spray painting stuff, and gets bit. And I really give credit to the directors for how they made this film, because the reason I didn't see the movie, one of the reasons is I watched the trailer, I go, wow, some of the animation, for example, seems kind of janky and not fluid. I mean, go like, what's the deal with that? Not really slow motion, but like kind of janky looking. And that's because when you see the film, it's for that universe. So when other universes come in, they're a bit more fluid and their animation style seems a bit different. I'm like, okay, so that's the reason for it. Plus I've been burned out by other movies, so I'm like, I don't know. But after he gets bit, I was talking about the way it's directed. He starts thinking in comic book panels. You know, the comic book panels with the yellow, and he starts thinking stuff. I'm like, okay, that's a really nice touch. And then he's sticking on buildings, and in this universe, Spider-Man has actual comics of him, and so Miles Morales has some of those comics. So as he's stuck to the building, he's looking at the comic in which Peter Parker and that was stuck to the building. And he's realizing, oh, I could do the same thing Spidey can. So I thought that was cool. And this Spider-Man is not the Spider-Man we know. It's the Spider-Man of another universe. Because this universe isn't ours. Like Miles Morales, his world is not ours. So it made certain things that could have been a bitter pill to swallow, and it went down a bit smoother. I'll get to that in a minute. But one thing leads to another. The Spider-Man's battling with the Green Goblin and the Kingpin, which I think is voiced by Liev Schreiber, actually. Liev Schreiber, good actor. Creating this machine that deals with parallel universes. And by doing so, certain things happen. Certain people get pulled through, including the Spider-Man from supposed to be our world. Which I like that this Spider-Man was a man. Like, this Spider-Man was an older guy, almost in the middle of a midlife crisis, who married Jane. They had been married and she left him. And it was kind of cool to see Spider-Man as a man. And surprisingly enough, the actor who voiced that, the actual Peter Parker Spider-Man, he's the guy who's annoying as fuck in The Mummy with Tom Cruise. Like Tom Cruise's buddy in that. What was it, Jake Johnson or something? But he actually did fairly good in this. And maybe you need writing that's worth a shit. And it can help. And there was just a lot of nice nods. There was a nice little Stan Lee appearance. There's a point where Peter Parker and Miles Morales are eating and riding a bus, and St. Elmo's Fire song is playing. Da, 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 da. And throughout the film, you start seeing other spider people. You have Gwen, Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, but it's Gwen Stacy because in her realm, Peter Parker died and she's the one that got bit, so she became Spider-Woman. Nick Cage is Noir Spider-Man, who's like a 1930s gun-wielding character. You have this one who's like an anime, who's weird thing where she has like a robot that's like a spider. And then you have Spider-Ham, which I do remember that comic way back in the day. I do remember that, where it's a pig in a Spider-Man outfit from more of a cartoon nature. And then Miles Morales is starting to get his powers. Like he could turn invisible, and he has this sort of Venom type of attack. And throughout it, it just some really good visuals, fluidity in his action and camera work sequences, some entertaining moments, some good nods to the comic. Nice to see other villains like Kingpin, Tombstone, who I remember from the comic. He has a little appearance in here. I gotta get into spoilers starting now. I would say if you're a Spider-Man fan, go watch it. But some of the issues I had, well, this isn't really an issue, because one of the surprising things is we see Spider-Man get killed, and then we realize, oh, well, that's this world Spider-Man, and he saved Miles Morales, and then the Spider-Man people knew more just from the comics, he gets pulled in. But he is the tutor, sort of the mentor in a way of Miles Morales. And that Peter Parker Spider-Man was fairly fun at times. Sometimes, I don't know if it was me, it seemed like he would get a little bit, I don't want to say pushed to the side, but he seemed more interesting than Miles Morales or the Gwen Spider Lady. And part of me just went, man, I wish he was the focal and not Miles Morales. I know that's a stupid thing, but I kind of wish this whole Spider universe, Spider-Man was the star. Peter Parker, the way it's utilized here, he was the main focus. Does Miles Morales, he was fine as a character, but not nearly as interesting to me as the actual Peter Parker Spider-Man. I'm like, man, this is like one of the better Spider-Man movies, and Spider-Man is not Peter Parker's not the actual star. And I'm like, the way he acts here, and he's an actual man, and this little thing you could play with where sort of this midlife crisis, part of me just really wished he was the star of it and not fucking Miles Morales. And even the other people that get out of the universe, Spider-Ham was goofy but fun for what it is. The Nick Cage Spider-Noir thing, he wasn't utilized as much as he could have. I think there's a lot more you could have done with that character. I don't know why the fuck you needed the anime lady with the spider robot. We didn't need this fucking lady. I thought she was just irritating and pointless. I was like, where the fuck is Spider-Man 2099? And of course he appears at the end fucking credits. I'm like, why the fuck didn't you have him in it? Not fucking Spider Lady bitch. Or the fucking anime lady. I want to see Spider-Man 2099. I like that comic. I love the costume. I want to see a fucking movie of Spider-Man 2099. I want to see that fucking character, and you only gave it at the end fucking credits. Bullshit. And that was mainly just as a joke because he goes to a dimension and he's in the 67 cartoon of Spider-Man. Which I did laugh at it, I must admit. But my goddamn... Spider-Man 2099, why didn't you fucking... And then apparently, the directors they were going to have a scene where Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and I can't believe I forgot his name. The new one, God, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, why can't I not remember his name? Oh my God. I cannot believe, Tom Holland. With all three of them. And the studio said no. I don't know why, but... Okay. And... So I'm like, oh man, we have the stupid fucking anime bitch. I don't give a fuck. Spider-Man 2099, why couldn't it be here? Why can't the older Spider-Man be the fucking lead? But, I mean, Miles Morales, I'm not going to sit here and say he's a terrible character. I'm not. For what they do a nice enough job building up his character, and he's trying to do the best that he can, and he's likable enough of a character that was still fun to watch. I didn't grow up reading the Miles Morales comics. That's another thing. I did not grow up reading his stuff. So maybe that's a factor as well. You have a female Doc Ock, which is interesting. Granted, okay, and when they're swinging through the Morales and Peter Parker, really nice animation sequences of that nature. But like, okay, these two guys could not beat the female Doc Ock, but fucking female Gwen Stacy Spider-Man could. But I guess, they wanted to have her actually, do something. Okay, I'll let that go. One battle sequence that was disappointing is all these characters are in this one place, and then this villain named the Prowler and Scorpion and the female Doc Ock all get in there. To see a little bit of the battle, it would have been nice to see like the Nick Cage film, Spidey, Noir, and others get more stuff to do. Just really just more cuts away because it centers more on Miles Morales and this Prowler character. Again, this is spoilers. And you find out the Prowler is his uncle. And I will admit, there's some nice, decent, emotional moments to this. Whether it be his universe of Spider-Man dying and people's being sad about that. Whether it be Miles Morales and his uncle, and then what happens with his uncle. Yeah, there's some nice little moments of that nature. When Miles Morales finally gets his costume Spider-Man and fully knows what to do, again, some pretty damn beautiful visuals of him swinging and how the camera's upside down as he's falling and how he swings through the city. Gorgeous to look at. I mean, I've done the, if nothing else, watch it as a beautiful visual feast. But in the finale, the characters get their moments. Like Nick Cage's Spidey, Noir, he beats up the Tombstone character. Spider-Ham actually messes up Scorpion with a little bit of help from Spidey, Noir. Miles beats up Kingpin. Well, not really. I mean, that was disappointing because he's fighting Kingpin, he's getting his ass kicked, and pretty much he just beats him by this one duff touch that he has. So it would have been nice to see him really beat the fuck out of Kingpin and then finish with that. But again, that's just a personal preference. Overall, I quite enjoyed the movie. I do wish Peter Parker Spider-Man was the star of it and not Miles Morales. Not that Miles Morales was a bad character. It's just I enjoyed this Spider-Man more and just wanted to see more of him. A lot more of him as a character. I think even him being in his 30s or whatever, you still could have had an arc to the character. Well, he's over the hill or he's getting older. Can he still hack in the game? Oh, yes, he can. He may be old, but doesn't mean he's out. And then you could have had Miles Morales and the Spider-Gwen. And then honestly, Spider-Man 2099 could have been the other character. Or you could have had like the Scarlet Spider from when Peter Parker was cloned, or like there's other Spider-Man universe characters I would have rather seen than whatever the fuck this anime lady was. Who the I guess just there for humor. But it was, despite my little misgivings here and there, it was still a very fun movie. Beautifully filmed, which I know is stupid because animation, but it's just energized with the, not thought bubbles, but thoughts coming up as if there's from a comic, split screens, how the camera flowed through certain sequences. A lot of entertaining inventiveness that the makers of film were doing, showcasing their, whether you want to say they were showing off to see what they could do, whatever, it worked. And like I said, it was a fairly entertaining film. Definitely one of the better Spider-Man movies out there. But yeah, I liked the older, like, You know that's the Peter Parker because he's swimming in New York and there's a Coca-Cola sign, but other universes it's something else that entirely different. It's okay, that's the Peter Parker that I grew up. I thought he utilized the humor fairly well, Jake Johnson. And yeah, overall, I did Miles Morales. I know I've been giving him crap for it, but as a guy that didn't grow up with the character, he was done fairly well. I didn't just personal preference. I grew up with the other Spider-Man. I wanted to see him in the lead, but he was not bad. The voice actor did the job well. Spider-Gwen, interesting idea. You know, the older Peter Parker Spider-Man, he wasn't useless. I appreciate that. He wasn't just entirely useless. He still had a lot of good worth in there. I appreciated that. The movie made me chuckle at times. It's disrespectful. Spider-Man doesn't wear a tape. When Miles Morales is trying to figure out what costume to wear, and Peter Parker gives him shit for that. And yeah, this was fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to watch. Glad I finally watched it. Well worth a look for anyone who's a Spider-Man fan. Well worth a look. With that said, thank you guys for watching. Take care. And we will see you in the next video. Later.